Welcome back to Cheddar, everyone. Momofuku restaurants have become top destinations for food lovers, and you may know the brand by its founder, David Chang, and its popular noodle bar restaurants. The brand also launched a product line in the past year, which, despite the global pandemic, had a waitlist 10,000 deep for each product. So joining me now is the brains behind that product launch, the CEO, Marguerite Mariscal. Marguerite, it's great to have you with us this afternoon. I know a lot of people are big fans and probably can't wait to get back to some of these restaurants, but explain what you're offering now to consumers, direct to consumer, that launched during this pandemic.
Sure. Thank you for having me. So yesterday, a year ago, we closed all of our restaurants across the world, essentially, because of the pandemic. And prior to that, we already had a plan to launch consumer packaged goods. We realized over the years of expansion, I think we opened, 15 concepts in almost as many years. And we realized if we were to keep growing, we had to find alternate paths that weren't just physical footprint. So we decided to make these products which we could deploy to people that are not in the cities in which we operate restaurants. One stat that we're in love with is that 90% of our followers on Instagram between Dave and Momofuku, so over 2 million people, don't live in cities in which we operate restaurants. So we had this whole demographic of people who knew what Momofuku was and were interested in the product that just didn't have access. So how could we reach that demographic instead of just opening restaurants city by city? And we thought, these products were the answer.
Okay, so let's talk through the products. What are you offering?
Sure. So we started with what we call seasoned salts. So they are basically a replacement for salt and pepper, but loaded with naturally occurring umami. So that's mushroom powder, that's nori, all the things you find in nature. And then from there, we launched Chili Crunch, which you can put on anything. It's just a spicy, crunchy condiment. And then we recently launched soy and tamari, which are all natural and made in the States. So really trying to tackle the Asian pantry and provide something unique from what's currently in U.S. markets and doing it direct to consumer.
Okay, so obviously people liked this with a wait list. What do we say? 10,000 deep for each product. That's pretty amazing. I guess my question is, do you plan to continue this once restaurants start reopening? And how has your strategy changed around that?
For sure. I think, restaurants, it's a very difficult business. Margins are getting slimmer and slimmer every year. And we haven't found consumers are willing to spend that much more on food, at least in restaurants. And so I think for us, we see this as a compliment, and we're creating an ecosystem where you can go into one of our restaurants and try a dish with Chili Crunch or with the seasoned salts, and then you can purchase that product and use it at home. And we really see that as being the future of restaurants, is not just in restaurant dining, which we're all excited to come back, but how are you complementing that in the home? Because we think there's so much opportunity to take what we've learned in 17 years of operating restaurants and bring that home with you, for your next meal there as well.
How are you preparing for life after COVID and the evolving reopen of your restaurants?
I think we're all taking it, one day at a time as new rules and regulations come out. But I think we're just so excited, and we're really excited, I think, in a lot of ways to see that ecosystem, right? We've kind of had one hand tied behind our back with people experiencing these products at home, but not really having the restaurant arm. And I think what we're so excited about is we have these chefs that are doing national cooking classes. We have all 50 states represented in the cooking at-home classes we've been doing, and really being able to add the restaurant layer to that. So someone who maybe met this chef during quarantine via Zoom can go into the restaurants and have a meal there, and really complete that in-person experience that we've been cultivating online with these new customers in addition to the ones that we already had. So I think, we're all excited to see the full spectrum of what the company looks like once in-restaurant dining is back in full force.
Now, what about some changes that have come along with the pandemic? We've seen restaurants alter their menus just a little bit, obviously, to stay current with the times and based on the supply chains, but also basically the prevalence of outdoor dining, at least in places like New York City. Are those outdoor dining, do you think that's something that's going to stick around, that you're going to embrace? And I think for people watching, any new menu items that might be on the way?
I think, we're so excited about the changes, especially in New York City, that we've seen as it relates to outdoor dining. It used to be such a hassle, and we've seen our landlords have been particularly great working with us to kind of take advantage of the spaces we have. We're reopening Sambar at South Street Seaport in April, which we're super stoked on, and that is a huge outdoor patio, so we're excited to see that start going. And Momofuku by the water is something that's relatively new for us, as is outdoor dining in a lot of instances. So we're trying to take advantage and have fun with it, because I think this year has not been an easy one. So wherever we can have a win or celebrate and have some fun, that's what it's all about right now.
That South Street Seaport location, not far from where we're broadcasting right now, Marguerite. I'll have to try it.
Exactly.
All right, Momofuku CEO Marguerite Mariscal, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.